Hi, Joan.
Hi, Bob.
And you're in a wheelchair.
Yep.
And how long have you been in your wheelchair?
Since 1985, so however many years that is.
That's a
That's a
long
long time,
time.
more than half
Yeah.
my life. So, yeah.
So it was an accident or something?
I was in a car accident when I was 24 years old. We went off the road, the driver fell asleep, and it's been, yeah, that since.
And that had to have been devastating to find yourself at so young, especially.
Actually, actually not.
No?
It's surprisingly. I have a really strong faith in God, and I had a couple of weeks before been praying about where my life was going. My life was not going where I wanted it to go, and not I was feeling pretty useless about how am I going to support myself. I was only 24. I had tried a few different things and they didn't work out. So I actually was feeling like kind of hopeless, like what was I going to do? And then so I was praying about that. Said, okay, my life is all yours, God, whatever you want, even if that means tragedy. And I'm like, but I don't want tragedy. And 2 weeks
But if it
later,
comes,
I'm okay with it, or
right.
hopefully. And when it did come, it was only 2 weeks later. Uh, I remembered that prayer not too long. Like I think I was still in the car. The ambulance hadn't come yet, and I think I kind of remembered it then, because I knew I couldn't feel my legs, and I was pretty sure I wasn't going to walk again. And it was like this peace.
Well, and having faith, I think the opposite of fear is faith. And the
Yeah,
solution for fear is faith. And
yeah,
having a strong faith that grounded you
yeah,
was really important.
definitely.
One of the few prayers I say, well, I always say thank you. That's my main prayer. And my
Yeah,
second prayer is not my will, but your will be done.
yeah,
And
right on.
I, everything in my life, I attribute to that attitude, that,
Yeah,
that overarching attitude
yeah,
about life.
yeah.
So faith is all important. You must be on some kind of disability then.
No, when it was a car accident. BC has a pretty good insurance program
Mm.
for auto insurance, and I got a pretty good settlement. It's actually taken care of me for those 35 years.
Wow.
Um, yeah, it's been good. They say money can't buy happiness. I beg to differ. It's made a big difference, and I think that there's been a lot of struggles that a lot of other people would go through, because they also have to struggle with the finances, and I didn't have to do that. And I'm
Right.
really, really grateful for that.
So money hasn't really been an issue, but you're living really frugally.
Money wasn't an issue, and then about, I would say probably 5 years ago, it wasn't a big issue, but it was becoming tighter.
Right.
And I started looking into this kind of lifestyle, but I was actually looking at, because thinking of the wheelchair and going, I need a lot of space, and if I'm going to move into it, I want a lot of space. So I was looking at 40-foot Class A motorhomes.
Sure.
Um, that got shut down. I researched that for, I don't know, probably a year, and it got shut down when I finally could find somebody in Canada that would put a lift in it. And the motorhome I was looking at was a used motorhome. It was going to be $60,000. Uh, the lift was going to cost 40,000,
Wow.
and I didn't have any sort of grants or anything to help me do that. So that shut that down. So I like, because I just kept going smaller and smaller, and I'm like, I could do it in a minivan. So here we are. I'm not sure still, but it's 5 days in, and we'll see. Or
Also, this
seven
is
days in.
just
I'm
the
not
beginning.
living in it yet. I'm 3 weeks down here in the States where it's warm, and then I plan to go back. My house has an offer on it, and once that is sold, I think I'll be out of it by May. I'm going to move into my van for the summer, so that would be like a trial,
Mm-hmm.
and see if it works out for me. If not, I'll reevaluate. I don't think I'm going to give up on the whole wanting to travel, but travel affordably. Last summer, I was taking it out and I was doing 1 or 2 nights, and I thought, wow, this is amazing. I'm super happy about this. Uh, but it was 1 or 2 nights. And then I did a 9 night trip down to the lower mainland, and it was really good. I went home and I wasn't ready to go home. So I thought, okay, that's going to be great.
Good start.
But it's different. I don't know what's different about this time. I feel like I am struggling a bit more, but that's okay. I think it's probably because I'm a little bit worried about, okay, I've told everybody I'm moving into my minivan, and if I don't do that, then egg on my face, right? But I think there's a little bit of pressure that way, and maybe that's why I'm worrying about things more. But it's not a huge problem, no.
So you feel like you have a purpose, and have you started to figure it out over the years what your purpose is?
Oh, it's been various things over time, but I think now it's evolving into uh, the YouTube channel that I have just put up. I have 15 whole subscribers.
All right.
um, the reason I decided to do YouTube, it's kind of out of my wheelhouse. Like, it's not something that was thinking I would want to do. It's pretty personal and kind of, but the reason I wanted to do it is when I was trying to research how to set things up in there with the unique challenges of being in a wheelchair, I couldn't find anything online.
Right.
There's a few people out there that are in chairs, but everybody's disability is different, and so the ones I was coming up against were not not useful to me. And so I just figured, well, if there's nothing out there like that, why don't I put one out there?
So tell us again your YouTube channel, just so anyone
It's
missed it.
Outspoken Wheels on Wheels.
So as being out here, you must have more concerns than the average person for your safety. Is that an issue?
It's something I've thought about, and I've tried to sort of logically think it through what would happen in different scenarios. But I also don't want that to be my focus. I don't want to be afraid. I want to be out here and enjoy it.
Right.
So I have a plan that probably isn't, a good enough plan, but I have a plan if something happened.
So folks, go check out her YouTube channel and support her, whether you're, disabled or not, fully able. So go ahead and why don't we take the tour of the minivan?
Well, it's pretty basic and pretty easy. At my bed, everything's on the floor. When I get in, I transfer onto the floor here, and then I've got to transfer to the back. So my sort of living space is right here on the bed. And then my kitchen is right that bank of drawers there. My cooler right in front of it. Box full of stuff that I haven't figured out what to do with yet.
So are you cooking?
Yeah, I have a cook stove on the other side too that I pull out. I pull out a little table and a cook stove. Hasn't been easy in in the gravel around here, but
yes, the desert's hard that way.
it is, yeah. But it's okay. Still beautiful anyways. So the rest of it is, I got a 3 bank of drawers there, my electronics, more food, and the bottom drawer is just like my office. It's got books, work that I have to do. The other bank of drawers is all my clothes, and I have now realized that is way too many clothes.
Yeah, we all learn more and more as we go, what we should bring and shouldn't.
Yeah, biggest lesson this time, you don't need as much stuff as you think.
Yes, that's a lesson that's 100% universal.
The toilet that I was having so much of a struggle with, well, first of all, the table. This is not a tried thing yet. I was setting up my van for the video, and I wanted to try this as a desk and a table. I don't know if it's going to work or not. I sunk the legs down into the hole where the stow and go seat would go. I took, Dodge Caravans have a 60-40 bench seat in the back, and I took the 40% out. So there's a hole about this big by whatever. And that's where I sunk my toilet in. I don't know if you can.
So it's just down there.
Yeah, Luggabaloo and all the, toiletry type stuff.
And then you have to get up kind of on it.
Yeah, I gotta bounce over to it, maneuver around. It's not ideal, but Seth, the other guy that you did the YouTube video on, gave me some really good ideas about that. So in future videos on my site, hopefully I will have something built similar. My cook stove comes out. I bring that table that's back there out and set it down here, put the cook stove on it, and it's basically my kitchen. And then I didn't want to spend a lot of money doing this. I spent money, I went to WeatherTech and got these things. You just plug in the make and model of your vehicle, and they give you, what do I got, 8 windows? They gave me 8 of these, and they just smoosh into your window at night. It's like black, quiet and silent in there.
Right.
And they've got the reflectix on the outside if you're in the desert, or if you want to be stealth in the city, they're black on the other side. So
it's working for you.
It's working for me, yeah. The one problem that I have is, like, on the other side, when I bring my wheelchair in at night. Usually I'll leave it outside if it's nice enough to be able to leave my wheelchair outside. Not at night. I won't leave it out because if somebody takes that, I'm hooped.
Yeah.
So I have a lift on the other side that lifts the chair up, brings it into the van, hovers it above my bed so I can sleep with my feet under the bed. But when it's in there, it's all of a sudden like it's borderline claustrophobia, because all of a sudden all that space in front of you is gone and I lose all access to everything in the front of my van. So that's something that I don't know if I'm going to be able to solve that or not, but that's something that
So ideally, maybe a larger vehicle.
Yeah.
That's the ideal.
I just bought this one last year.
Yeah.
So yes, I am thinking in that direction. We'll see. Everything's
It is what it is.
Who knows what'll happen in the future, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah.
That the recycle bin that was just in there.
One we just looked at?
Yep. Yeah. I used that on my knee in there. I've only done it once so far, and the bed ended up getting all wet. Sitting on the bed, have that. I used a cup, and I didn't even heat up the water because I didn't want to get out of the van, but this is to wash my hair, what I'm explaining. I used a spray bottle to get my hair all wet, put some shampoo on, used a cup to clean it while I'm leaning over the green bin, and there you go.
Yeah. And just wet wipes for spot cleaning.
Yeah. Actually, I don't really like wet wipes. No? I feel like it's probably just in my head, but I feel like there's a residue always left there.
Yeah.
And so I actually do use a cloth, and I spray the cloth wet when I'm using it, and then I feel like it's a clean.
Right. So everything has to be really simple and streamlined.
Yeah, a lot more than I anticipated. Like that first time I washed my hair, I realized the same amount of shampoo that I use at home is not what I use in the van.
Right.
Oh, and the power. I should tell you about that. I don't know if you saw on the other side I have a Jackery 500.
Oh, uh-huh.
That's what I'm using to charge my, while I'm down here in the States, I have an American phone and a Canadian phone because my Canadian plan sucks. So I'm charging both those phones and the computer and my heating pad on that. So for getting in and out from Adapt Solutions, good advertisement for them.
Yeah. So just lots of scooching.
Lots of scooching around, yeah.
So that just swings out.
Yep. And then you just lower the, hook it on. Try to keep it away from the car. I'd like to be able to sell it at some point.
So they must have added an extra battery or something with the wheelchair?
No, they didn't.
No?
They actually did not, and I'm not sure that was a good thing or not.
No, that draws a lot of power.
And then this just lifts me in.
Kind of like one of the, you see them in houses that go upstairs.
Yeah, yeah, it is a lot like that.
Goes straight up. And you scooch in.
Yep. And then lower that down. And that's it.
Yeah, and you're ready to go.
You bet. And then lots of times people are interested in the hand controls.
Mm-hmm.
Hand controls, just gas and brake. But this is a first for me. Like I had said before, I've been in a chair since 1985, and they were always just bolted onto the pedals. This is electronic, and it's really cool. It's so much smoother.
So tell us again your YouTube channel so people can go and check you out.
It's called Outspoken Wheels on Wheels.
Good.
Yeah.
So whether you're disabled or fully able, just go and check it out and be part of a community. So go check out her channel, everyone. Well, Joan, thank you so much for sharing your home and your life with us. I really, really appreciate it.
Well, I really appreciate you doing this for me, Bob, for my channel and for all the people that hopefully it's going to help. And thank you for being the help that you are to everybody that's doing stuff like this.
Yeah.
You've been great. So.
It's my joy. So thank you.
All right. Thank you, too.
So, folks, I know you've been inspired by Joan and her story of overcoming. You know, you weren't dealt the best hand, but you've played it extremely well. So thank you.
Thank you.
Folks, I hope you got something out of this. If you did, like...